Welcome to Photo Finds. I am your host, Kevin E. Let's get started for this week, where we only have one destination in mind, and that is ice at Gaylord Palms. Now I'm going to take you backwards a few years and kind of scroll through the way ice at Gaylord Palms has looked over the past several years. And we're looking here at 2007, where you can see that it's a warehouse that they keep in freezing conditions. And this is Gaylord Palms is a hotel right next to Walt Disney World. And they bring in carvers from Harbin, China, who are famous for ice carvings, and they use colored ice, as you can see sometimes, to give color to their creations, and they have ice slides as well. Here's a view of them building the decorations for the year 2008. And it's painstaking work, as you can tell. They're really just working off of giant blocks of either white ice or colored ice. They use food coloring to get the color in there, and this is kind of the result that you get. Now, one of the reasons I'm going backwards in time here is so that we can kind of look at what is traditionally done at ice before we look at what's been done this year. So this is a more traditional look to it, where you've got the individual blocks that have been carved into a shape, and the whole thing is a little bit translucent. Unless they've got the food coloring in place, in which case it kind of takes on a different look. And they've been using some of these eyes and so forth as well that are not necessarily ice. Now this year we've got Shrek the Hall. So there's for the first time a corporate sponsor. Well, Coca-Cola has been the sponsor for some time, but now you've got a kind of marketing angle to it as well. And the whole character is different. I say that with some irony. So you've got here more in the way of set dressing happening around the outside of the ice sculptures themselves. And they've got better lighting, and they were unafraid to really go all out with the ice decorations. And these are ice as well, these giant Z's right here. So they've come a long way in having both a lot more colored ice, a lot more color put into the thing, but also just a sense of more realism. And to have characters that are familiar, in this case Shrek, rather than just sort of blue penguins that don't mean anything, adds a different layer to it as well. And also something they haven't been doing all that often, this underlighting gives it a different texture to it than just walking through with lighting from above. So they've really gotten a layer higher when it comes to the theatricality and the presentation, and certainly with the coloring as well. And so look at some of the ice floorboards here. They've really spent some time carving in wood patterns onto the floor. And they didn't have to do that, but it certainly lends a sense of realism to the whole thing that makes it very exciting. So these are large sculptures. Children would be about as tall as this book. So I thought it would be worthwhile to take a look around and just see some more of the interesting colors. And here again is a giant hut where they've put all these props. And look here up at the ceiling. This is not something they've traditionally done, is pay this much attention to what's hanging from the ceiling. So they've gotten more of a 3D approach to the presentation of the ice sculptures. And it also seems that they've gone a little bit further with the decorating of faces. So instead of just an eye, now they've got teeth, and now they've got noses and hats and so forth. And so they've really upped it an extra layer compared to what they used to have in terms of these ice sculptures. Now they still have ice slides. Here you see the slides on both sides of the main part of the screen. Backing up slightly, you see that Shrek and Donkey were in this room as well, and Gingy and his wife. But then looking at the slides now, this time instead of penguins, it's kind of themed around the three little pigs sliding their way down the colored ice. And then we transition through this tunnel. They've often had a tunnel like that. In this case, we're coming up on the backside of, as we'll see in a moment, a dragon that we've just walked through. And the dragon room also includes many other Shrek characters. Now, inside the Shrek character room, you'll also have the offspring of Donkey and the dragon. They're not that easy to see, but they're cute little additions. Here they are again from the backside with little dragon wings. Another room of Shrek and his family. And again, some effective coloring and lighting going on in this room, very festive. The whole theme has been one of Shrek discovering Christmas and the Christmas spirit, not too different from Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, the finale keeps a familiar scene to those of you who have seen the ice presentation before, and that is the Nativity Scene. This one is done in the traditional style of just translucent and white lighting. Shrek and Fiona are available for a meet and greet in a sort of a separate room. And then a different room off to the side over here is the snow exhibit. Now this is new. Next to ice now we have snow. And snow is, as you can see, snow lying on the ground and then some playgrounds. And so the playground areas are to be kept free of the snow, and the snow itself is just there on the side for playing around and maybe snowball fights. There's a slide in the back as well, and there's no snow or ice involved in the slide. It's meant to be dry. Here you can see some more of the decorations they put around the outside. It's themed to Kung Fu Panda, and off in the distance you can see the panda in a Kung Fu pose. Here's a view from the top of the slide. And that brings me to, finally, a different sort of advertisement. There are two books I want to tell you about in the upcoming month. This is one of them. I'm an author, not the first author, as you see, on a book called Christmas at Walt Disney World. I'll keep this short, but I wanted to let you know about the book. It covers not just the decorations at Disney World, but also the history. So this is the new castle projections this year, and one of the projections is a reference to the cake castle they once had for the 25th anniversary. So we take you through history. We show lots of pictures, or hundreds of pictures. Here's the Christmas version of the Country Bears, and then on the side of the Country Bears, as well as the mile-long bar, they also had decorations like that. And we go through all the parks, all the resorts, including the history, like Lights of Winter, as you see here, much beloved, much missed. And the book retails now on Amazon for $22.95. And I promise to keep the advertisements relatively short. I thank you as always for your attentions, and we will catch you guys next time.